In the last 1 year, the insurance regulator IRDAI has come out with new guidelines for health insurance products, which will now come into effect from October 1st. Some of them have been formulated keeping in mind the COVID induced stress and crisis on the health of people and that of their finances. In this video, I have with me Mr. Tarun Mathur, CBO, PolicyBazaar.com, to take us through the health insurance revamp in the context of and to combat COVID 19. At a turbulent time when we're engulfed by a pandemic, has the IRDAI made any changes that will specifically look to alleviate COVID led health problems and the associated costs and expenditures?
Shambhavi, you see, I would really like to commend the IRDA on the speed of execution when it came to the pandemic, right? In a matter of months, we have a COVID specific plan. I think we have, in fact, multiple plans now. There's Corona Kavach, there's Corona Rakshak, and they've come out and they're specifically treating just these two. And the industry responded despite having very, very little data on a particular pandemic. But I think it's a new era, and we've learned from this pandemic. And what we're going to do is probably have a fund created for pandemic diseases. You see, when you look at health insurance, at the end of the day, what comes in can only go out, right? If the companies can't work on losses, so how do you then provide for something that works like an outlier in a graph, right? You can't really plan for that. So what I think the idea is trying to set up now is having a separate pool of money that's set aside, which works on a cooperative basis along with the government, to see can we then tide over any such pandemic or large loss that comes in, which keeps everybody sane. You see, we had never seen this before. We didn't know what the cost like. I think even today we don't know where this is headed. So just having a separate pool of money which is kept reserved for such pandemics is the way to go. And I think that this will actually become the norm, and we needed something to learn from, and unfortunately got it.
That's very insightful, actually. Besides, as you know, social distancing is the norm and staying home is the new normal. So, via telemedicine, the health insurance industry seems to have adapted itself as well. What has IRDAI stated regarding telemedicine and what should policyholders know?
So you see, wellness as a concept has been around for quite some time now. And the way you look at it, it's very cohesive in terms of being bundled with health insurance. And now that's been allowed by the IRDA. While there are different ideas out there, and we'll have to kind of see how this matures, I think the broad idea is medical inflation is upon us. We do not have a regulation around hospitals. We do not have any regulation on the healthcare costs. So now what do? See, it's prevention is better than cure. Now, if a customer is adopting these wellness initiatives, the chances are that the cost of claims will come down. That is the only way that we have to kind of reduce the cost of claim, and hence kind of take control on premiums. Because what is your and my fear? Today we're paying 12,000 rupees for our policies, right? What will happen 5 years hence? If medical inflation goes 2x, then we are paying 24,000. It's a direct proportionate value. How do you kind of tide over this? I think wellness will bring about that awareness in consumers. If I was able to tell you, and I don't know how this will evolve, saying, Shambhavi, listen, if you walk 5,000, 7,000 steps a day, then I will make sure that you get some sort of benefit on your renewal, whether it's reduction of price or increasing the sum insured. Again, I said it'll evolve, but there have been some benefit. Now, as a consumer, see an incentive to follow some wellness advice and be able to control my premiums, and the industry on a whole will kind of work towards it, because hospitalization cost, one doesn't know how it's going to move. So we have to do our bit and kind of incorporate these, and the IRD has now listed down and allowed for them be included in the products themselves. So I think it's a great move. One just has to wait and see how this kind of evolves.
You're right. I think we've definitely learned that we need to also, other than buying health plans and stuff, kind of prioritize on little things regarding our health in our daily lives. Is there anything else other than this that you wish to see, or you would want IRDA to take care of going forward?
Okay, so Shambhavi, there are three segments that we look at, right, when it comes to health insurance. The first is an individual customer. The second is a customer with a family, whether it is two adults or two adults with two children or one child. And the third is a senior segment, senior citizen segment. uh, I think these are very different segments in terms of behaviors, hospitalizations, and wants, right? And I think there's a lot of relevant portions of health insurance that fit in here. So the way I would look at it, you should have almost separate products, separate disallowance or allowance for these particular customers, and at the back a stitched up network, whether it is wellness or hospitals, to kind of provide for the customer. See, because the need of an individual customer is very different. Now, if you say wellness and you tell a 25-year-old walk 10,000 steps, he's going to smile. He's going to say that that's no big deal. Whereas that's very different for let's say a customer who's let's say 60 years old. So I think those plans have to be created like that. I think each segment has to be treated as a different market, a different addressing kind of cohort, and plans have to be built around that. A gym plan would kind of fit a younger customer. A family customer is looking at benefits around maybe maternity, because he might be going the family way. Maybe about maternity complications, because those do happen. How can we actually encourage natural births versus a C-section? So I think those plans have to kind of be created that way. Senior segments are today not very happy with the kind of premiums that are there. So can we then introduce something which talks about like you have CGHS in the country, like a gatekeeper. So when when an old age customer goes to this gatekeeper, or whoever is there kind of giving advice, can they direct him to the right hospital and kind of make sure that he's getting the seat? Because if you don't bring those costs under control, if you start going to the largest hospitals at just a fever, then you're going to kind of incur a lot of losses for the insurance company, and then the prices will go up. So very different needs of three different types of customers that I see today. And I think that has to be brought about. I think the regulator has to start getting into the depth of it and try and see how they can come out with standardized products or standardized regulations which look at these three in isolation actually, and not as one large country that we are.